Good afternoon, and thank you everyone for attending today's webinar, How Are We Communicating with Patients in 2017, presented by Trupti Patel of Solution Reach. Please be aware that there will be a question and answer portion today at the end of the webinar. To avoid frequent interruptions during the webinar, please type your questions in the question box located to the right of your screen. They will be answered in the order received during the question and answer portion. Additionally, an electronic version of this presentation will be emailed to all participants following completion of today's webinar, and a recorded version will be available on the website for members only. Again, NJMGMA would like to thank you for attending, and I'll now turn things over to Trupti.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Trupti Patel with Solution Reach here in New Jersey area. Thank you, Alex, and I really want to thank you all for joining us, and I'm really hoping that we all learn something at the end of the presentation. So first and foremost, Solution Reach is a HIPAA-ready, SaaS-based patient relationship management platform that's basically helping connect patients with their practice. In today's technology, Solution Reach is helping almost connecting 80 million patients in the nation. As we're looking at this first slide, looking at the door, there are a few things that it represents. Basically, what we're talking about is communication, how we're communicating with our patients in 2017, how we can get better and better. So as you're looking at this door, I want you all to think about what this door might represent to your practice in terms of your patients. When I look at this door, it represents me a couple things. First, it can be a nice, warm, welcoming door that your patients come through having the best positive experience. On the other hand, it can be always that back door when patient decides to go see some other doctor and leave your practice. Sorry, I'm having an issue with, okay, perfect. Always a glitch with technology, but we always find a solution. So patients nowadays have many choices, as we all know. They're constantly researching, and main things they research on basically choosing the provider are two areas. And one, their medical condition. We all know before patient comes to the practice, they have already self-diagnosed when they start asking questions about their medical conditions on this and that and other. They go on internet, put in their medical condition, and they're constantly self-diagnosing them. On the other thing they're researching is providers. Even your long-time patients will look at the other providers who's providing the same service that you provide. And it's always going to happen. Every now and then it happens where even your long-time patients that you thought were loyal to you, they may decide to jump to another fishbowl. So the key for you is to provide the experience that is so positive that your patients have no desire to leave your practice. I remember when I was a young girl, it's a funny thing, but I love it. I enjoyed playing magnets, and I was really fascinated about it. I'm sure all of you, or some of you probably had that experience. As we all know, how magnet has two poles, south and north. Doesn't matter what shape it is. But if you remember when you were playing, when we bring two magnets together, two things happen. Either they pull in towards each other, or it may happen that they push away. Don't they? In fact, it is super hard to push them together sometimes when we're bringing the sides that kind of opposite. And try. If you haven't tried, try as hard as you might. They won't come close together. So the concept I want you to remember is that every experience that your patient have in your practice is doing one of two things. Either it's pulling your patients together in your practice or pushing them away from your practice. And what we want to talk about is something or some of those ways that can actually draw your patients in the practice or pull those patients in your practice, even when those patients are not in front of you, even when they are not in your practice having that face-to-face communication. Because we want what we want, we basically want your practice to be a practice magnet, where even when your patients are not in your office, they're thinking about you, and when they leave the office after their medical visit or whatever their office visit is, they can't forget about their positive experience because you have done such a good job bringing them in and making their experience such a positive that they want to stay and stick to the practice. Something I call patient relationship management. It's a concept that we all know and aware that has evolved around giving your patients such an overall positive experience from start to finish, even when, as I said, even when they're not present in your practice in front of you. And that's when we're making sure they're not going from one fishbowl to the other. I'm sure some of you probably heard about Wired Magazine or came across Wired Magazine articles, but there was a study done by Harvard Medical School on a caring impact of patients and having that communication during their treatment. And it was done by Professor Ted Kopchak. As a matter of fact, that's his picture when he was given presentation. So Ted had this idea on a positive communication and caring that patient might experience positive outcome when they're having more care and getting attention. He wasn't saying patients enjoyed those extra attention. They might have better outcome actually from whatever procedure it might be. And so he did what we do basically. He took 400 patients and divided into two groups. They were gastro patients, by the way. And there was a control group. They received standard visits like everyone else today, that they received those standard visits. And the group two, things were different. Group two, they had more time with their doctor, more time in communication with office, more eye contact, more time for them allowing their questions to be answered, having them ask questions. And sometimes even doctor touched their arm or shoulder while he was or she was communicating with those patients. So these visits were more warm. There were more interaction. And at the end of the study, this is what they found. The results increased caring equaled improved outcome, which is amazing. And this is, it basically makes the patient feel better on the whole experience. And they had measurably improved outcome, not just improved or enjoyable visits. And so the conclusion basically is true caring should be an integrated, legitimate part of medicine. And now we're not saying, I'm not trying to say we're caring kind of replace the science by any means at all, but it's an adjunct to science. Caring is very, very important. It's so funny. I'm listening to myself at this point. But yeah, it's basically caring is very, very important. And I want you all to think what your office is doing right now. you care for your patients, or do you really care about them? What is most important factor for your patients? What your patients are really looking for? What do they really want from the practice? What are they looking when they decide, when they go on internet and they're searching for the provider that they for their medical conditions, for any visits? Are they looking for the credentials and training that you have? Is it your experience and expertise in what you do? Or is it your good looks? And this is what actually patient says. Patient basically says, actually there was a study done, most important factor that makes patient a high quality doctor from patient's view. These are some of the questions, and you can see far most. The first one that most patients were looking in their provider while they were choosing a provider is far extended. And guess what? They were looking for the quality. Is the provider listen, paying more attention to their patients? The second one is accurate diagnosis. And that really made me to jump to a conclusion thinking, wow, the patient would prefer that you misdiagnose them over not communicating with them. But here I want to share more details on all the answer. And if we look at it, you could see some of the highlighted areas where what they're looking into their provider is listen, caring, their manners, personality, time with patients, communication, accessible, how they can get in touch with patients ASAP, or how patient can get in touch with office. And funny thing is, when it comes to their qualifications, there's really few compared to the rest. And you can look at the highlighted area, it's really 4 of them. So if we backtrack a little bit, what is most important for your patients? The answer is communication. Super, super easy. That's what patients are looking for. And believe it or not, good patients, they want to leave positive reviews more likely with their offices than going into offices that they are kind of dragging and then talk about their negative experience afterwards. And just want to share another study. About 1,000 patients were asked about their visiting their doctor, what annoys them the most. And the study actually showed unclear diagnosis. That was #1 complaint. The other complaint, test results not communicated, side effects not fully explained, hard to reach doctor by phone or email. And that was really funny. It all kind of leads to communication, just not having that proper communication with patients, not giving them enough time on what the patient is looking for. I do want to share one of a friend's story. Jackie is a friend's friend, and she actually has a daughter, a 5-year-old daughter, who is chronically ill, and almost every week Jackie is in and out of the hospital and doctor's office. And Jackie here is representing all your patients. And this is what she wrote on her Facebook page. She says, every so often, you reach out to your doctor's office and someone actually listens to you, cares what you have to say, address your concerns, and actively works to solve your issue. I actually took Jackie's permission to share this information. And she said, it's said that I am so impressed when this happens, but when it does, I want to send that person flowers and chocolate and a date at a spa. That's how important it is and how much it means to me. This is what all your patients want. They all want to send you chocolates, send you goodies, give you the best because you're taking care of them. You're listening to them. You're paying attention to them. And that's what it means when a patient gets that extra touch, extra feeling, and well-cared experience in doctor's office. All I'm asking is think for a second, are you really listening? Are you really communicating with your patients the way your patient wants? This is a really funny picture. I love it. I have no idea what it is, honestly, but I think to me, it seems like the latest and greatest technology 100 years ago, which was great at listening. And I just included to show you guys, are you communicating with this technology today with your patients, or the one that patients are actually on? I'm sure almost all of you have smartphones. Some of you might have 2 smartphones. And there are more effective tools in today's technology, in today's world, to communicate with your patients. Honestly, sounds a little different, but smartphones are the new black. These are some studies that 80% of Americans online, adults utilize smartphones. 80% of population. 98% smartphone users text. That's huge. 90% of smartphone users are on internet from their smartphone. 87% smartphone users check their emails on their smartphone. And soon they're all going to be 100%. I have no doubt about that. There's no turning back. Totally no turning back. So what I did, I actually took a picture. I included this in my show, and I remember when I was doing a live presentation face-to-face, someone said, this is a stage photo. And I'm like, you know what? It is a stage photo. It is, it was staged. Because these are really your patients. That's what I was talking about. These are your patients. As soon as I heard stage photo, I'm like, I got to improve. I took this picture. These are your patients today. These are your patients today, every other second on smartphone communicating. And if we look at it, phone used to be next to their ear. Now, it's not. People like to text and email. So in 2017, if we're not communicating where our patients are, the way our patients want, telling, we're being left behind. Your practice is behind. Let technology help you. What technology can help you is with maintaining a full schedule with a low no-show rate or reduce your no-show rate completely, 100%. Effectively re-engage overdue patients. Bring your patients back into the practice who hasn't been in the practice. Educate your patients with relevant and timely information. When patients are not coming back, not in the practice, they might be lacking some education there. They don't realize why they have to come back in the practice. Feedback on patients' experience, how their experiences in the practice, how they like their care with clinical staff, how is their time in the office? Are they satisfied? Are they looking for more? Send personalized message to their patients, especially on their birthdays, Thanksgiving. Make them feel better on their special days. Maintain the strong social media presence. We all know social media, Facebook is a way patients find their doctors on the phone through their family and friends and referrals. Acquire and manage online reviews. Market the product, market the service you have to your patients. Solution Reach has solution for it. Solution Reach helps practice. These are the slide how it looks like when office communicate electronically with their patients through email or text. You can send appointment reminders, as well as fill last-minute cancellations. We all know, in somewhat we agree, when we take the time and remind our patients about their appointments on a timely manner, patients do appreciate that. And before no-show happens, they're going to call the office and say, hey, I cannot make it today at 4 o'clock or tomorrow at 10 o'clock, such and such emergency or such and such something happened. They're giving you enough time to fill your last-minute cancellation. So what are you doing with those? Are you dialing, trying to reach your patients manually, leaving the voicemail 9 to 5 when patients are at work? Are you actually using the technology that can allow you to send messages in less than 90 seconds to a good number of patients and get back to your paperwork that you have to finish and not be stressed? Re-engage your overdue patients. Patients who have their follow-ups, hasn't been in the practice. How are we re-engaging them? How are we sending them reminders? Hey, 3 months follow-up, 6 months follow-up, haven't seen you in 2 years, hope that all is well. I'm not going to go into detail about all my slides. Just want to quickly glance here so you have an idea about Solution Reach, how it helps. Are you reaching out to your patients through newsletters or email where they have that extended education when office is closed? They might have a question after a procedure that they can't get in touch with the office because office is closed, or it's Sunday at 2 o'clock and they need to read something about it. Are you sending them something based on their procedure, based on their medical condition, what medication they can stay away, what cautions they have to do in fall or flu season and things like that? And make sure when you're using that kind of tool with any other communication technology, are you writing the context, or you have a company that's actually given it to you, so you're not sitting and writing those information, but you're just automating and selecting, hey, diabetic groups with such and such cardiovascular medical conditions receive this kind of template, newsletters, and it automatically rolls on. At the end, post-appointment surveys. How are we getting feedback? How are we finding out what our patients are liking and what they're not liking? And how much time are we spending on all this? That's another key point Are this automated, or do we have to go in and initiate it? Are we able to filter out the negative or least attractive experience and give those patients a return feedback on what happened and make them happy, make them satisfied, so they are the win for life patients for your practice? How are we turning those positive experiences into more referrals? Are we sending more meaningful, personalized messages on patients' birthday? While patients are not in the office, they often forget or they don't remember, but when that around lunchtime, noon, when they're with their family and friends eating lunch on their birthday, suddenly an email pops out or a text goes out saying happy birthday, it makes them feel good. They remember about you. And not to forget, take some marketing opportunity there. Have a little incentive for their friends so they can refer more patients to you. Maintaining your strong social media is the key nowadays. We all know Facebook is constantly growing. Millennials and Gen X are constantly living on those pages. Even if we look at the statistics, honestly, 55 and older is the highest percentage of population spending time on Facebook. Are we on Facebook? Are we putting educational material to help our patients and their friends? Are we managing our reviews? Are we monitoring? Is there something that's helping us where on one area you can kind of manage and see what's going on your site? Because you really want to make sure when someone comes to your office and they did not have field experience, you want to make sure you take care of them. Are we marketing patients in a right manner? Are we sending the right message at the right time to the right patient? And at the end, if you do it all, if you align all these tools together, all your patients are going to get in a line, almost like a pool, and you be the door that we had in the beginning, that would be the door only for the entry. Isn't that all we want? I'm sure. We all want this door to be just the entry point and not the exit point. We want all our patients to stay in our fishbowl and not jump around. Here is my information. I can be reached via email or cell. And if you want one-on-one, any conversation, I would love to answer. I'm not sure if any questions came in.
We don't have any questions, so I'll just leave it for a second or two here just to see if anyone has any. Remember, you can type them in the question box on the right of your screen. It doesn't look like any questions are coming in, so if we don't have any questions, reminder that this presentation will be archived on the webinars page of the website. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Trupti, who is the presenter. Okay, thank you everyone for attending and have a great rest of your afternoon.
Thank you.